Welcome back to my channel. Sometimes, life doesn't fall apart all at once. It unravels quietly. A routine cracks, a plan shifts, a dream loses its shape. And before you realize it, you're standing in a place you didn't expect, somewhere between who you were and who you haven't become yet. Many people feel lost or afraid in that space, but what if it's not the end? What if it's the beginning? Today, we're talking about the power of starting over and why beginning again, no matter how small or how late, might be the most powerful thing you ever do. I once knew someone named Mira. She wasn't extraordinary in the way movies portray heroes, but she was extraordinary in the quiet ways life rewards. She had a clear path at 18, a dream at 22, and a plan at 25. But like so many of us, she met the truth of adulthood. Her job became overwhelming, her relationship drained her energy, and her ambitions slowly faded. She felt guilty for not being the motivated version of herself she used to be. For a while, she pretended everything was fine, because pretending felt easier than facing the truth. She needed to start over. One rainy evening, she finally broke down. She sat by her window, listening to the drops hitting the glass, feeling like time was slipping away. She whispered, "I don't even know where to go from here." And yet, in that quiet moment, something powerful happened. She realized the life she was holding on to was no longer meant for her. She wasn't failing. She was outgrowing. With that shift, beginning again stopped feeling like defeat. It started feeling like freedom. Here's something people rarely admit. Starting over is not a weakness. It is a conscious choice to rewrite your story. Is courage disguised as a restart? Is self-respect disguised as change? The world celebrates people who never stop, but the bravest ones are those who pause, reflect, and dare to begin again because they choose growth over comfort. When Mira took her first step, nothing dramatic happened. No applause, no instant clarity. She simply fixed one small thing, her mornings. She woke up earlier, drank water, stretched, and breathed. It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. Most resets start quietly, one habit, one honest conversation, one boundary drawn, one belief challenged. As weeks passed, those tiny choices grew into a new rhythm. She rediscovered hobbies. She left a relationship she feared ending. She changed jobs. And most importantly, she forgave herself, the version of her who made mistakes, tolerated too much, stayed too long. Because starting over is impossible if you keep punishing who you were. Many think the hardest part is the first step. But often the hardest part is letting go of the version of ourselves we feel obligated to remain. The student with the top grades. The hard-working employee. The partner who sacrifices. But life isn't linear, and you are not a machine that loses value when it resets. Humans grow in spirals. You revisit lessons with a deeper understanding. You rebuild with softer, wiser strength. If you're listening now because you're standing at a crossroads, tired, disappointed, unsure, let me say this clearly. It is okay to start again. Not only okay, but necessary. There is no growth without renewal, no transformation without release. The unknown you fear is the same unknown that once led you to everything you're grateful for today. Starting over is uncomfortable because it confronts you with yourself. But discomfort is the birthplace of new beginnings. When you start again, you reconnect with your power, the power to choose, adjust, redirect, and evolve. People think they need confidence before starting. But confidence isn't a prerequisite, it's a result. It comes after the shaky steps, the trembling hands, the moments when you keep going despite doubt. No one starts over gracefully. Everyone begins messily. Everyone questions themselves. But those who continue eventually look back and realize the restart wasn't the scary part. The scary part was imagining a life where nothing changed. Staying the same is more frightening. Staying in the wrong job drains you. Staying in a stagnant relationship shrinks you. Staying attached to old expectations suffocates your growth. Staying out of fear is how people lose themselves. Starting over breathes life back into your story. It lets you reclaim your voice, your dreams, your direction. And here's something beautiful. Every restart begins with experience, not emptiness. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from wisdom. When we think about starting over, we often imagine a dramatic shift, a clear line between the old life and the new one. But most beginnings don't feel like beginnings at all. They feel like confusion, doubt, and waking up in a fog, wondering when the sky will clear. People love celebrating the transformation that comes later, but rarely talk about the quiet middle, the messy transition between who you were and who you are becoming. This was where Mira struggled most. She had already chosen to begin again, but the results didn't arrive quickly. One week, she felt hopeful. The next, she questioned everything. Progress is rarely linear. Some days you move forward, others you slip back, others you simply stand still. But every day you show up matters. Each small effort plants a seed. Change happens slowly, quietly beneath the surface. At one point, Mira wanted to give up. She said, "Maybe I don't deserve a new beginning. Maybe I wasted too much time." But she forgot a simple truth. Your worth isn't measured by delays or mistakes. It stays constant, even when your direction shifts. You don't earn the right to start over. You already have it. People around you won't always understand why you want to begin again. They might say, "Why not stay where you are?" But only you know the weight you carry, the dreams that whisper to you, the exhaustion you hide. Only you know when it's time to let go. Opinions can guide you, but they cannot live your life. The choice to begin again is always yours. That's why it feels heavy. Responsibility and freedom come together. When you start again, you often stand alone at first, but alone doesn't mean abandoned. It means you're strong enough to hold your own hand. It means you value your growth enough to walk into uncertainty. And remember, a new beginning always attracts new people, opportunities, and experiences that match who you're becoming. One of Myra's biggest shifts was embracing small wins. She used to think success only mattered when it was big. But starting over taught her that growth is made of tiny victories, making your bed, drinking water, reading one page, saying no, saying yes, letting go, trying again. They are not insignificant. They are proof of change. Celebrate these small wins. They spark the fire within you. They show you're moving, even when no one sees it. Most importantly, they remind you that you are capable. But starting over brings grief, too. Beginning again means losing something old, a version of yourself, a routine, a dream, a relationship, a plan. And grief, even quiet, is heavy. You might feel sad even when the decision is right. That's normal. Beginnings don't erase endings. Allow yourself to grieve. Missing what you left behind doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. After grief comes something beautiful. Space. Space to grow. Imagine, breathe, and welcome the person you're becoming. When Mira found that space, she felt lighter, not because life became easy, but because she stopped carrying what wasn't hers. That's the magic of starting over. It clears the noise, so your real voice returns. Months later, Mira told me, "I think I'm happier now than I've been in years." Her life wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And in that honesty, she rediscovered her power. If you feel lost today, here's what Mira learned. You don't need to know the whole path. Just the next step. If the next step is resting, rest. If it's leaving, leave. If it's trying again, try. If it's forgiving yourself, start there. You rebuild your life through gentle, consistent effort. Don't underestimate quiet moments. The mornings you choose differently. The nights you refuse to give up. The afternoons when you practice kindness toward yourself. These moments become the foundation of your restart. Starting over also requires patience. You cannot rush a new beginning. Plants don't grow faster because we want them to. Progress won't appear instantly just because you're tired of waiting. Give yourself time. Allow the new version of you to form naturally. Slowly, you become stronger, clearer, wiser. Here's a truth you need. The moment you choose to begin again, you are already changing. Even if nothing external shifts yet. Even if everything feels messy. The decision itself is a transformation. In life, you'll start over many times after heartbreak, burnout, losing yourself, broken dreams, fading friendships, or ending jobs. You'll start again at 20, 30, 40, or 60. Renewal has no age limit. Growth has no deadline. Your life is not a race. It's a series of chapters, all meaningful in their own way. What matters most is your willingness to turn the page, even when the future is blank, even when fear is louder than hope. Starting over becomes easier when you realize uncertainty isn't the enemy, stagnation is. So let me ask you, what is one thing you can begin again today? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be honest. Start with one step. Every restart begins that way. There's something quietly powerful that happens when you start over. You begin to see yourself with new eyes. You stop judging who you used to be and start noticing who you're becoming. This shift doesn't happen instantly. It unfolds slowly, like dawn after a long night. At first, you're unsure if the light is real, but with each choice toward growth, it grows brighter. Mira once shared a moment that surprised her. She said, "I was walking home and suddenly realized I didn't feel heavy anymore." Nothing dramatic had happened. She simply felt free, free from expectations, guilt, and the pressure to be perfect. Starting over had loosened something inside her. That's what new beginnings do. They don't erase struggle, but they lighten it so you can breathe again. Starting over isn't building a new life from scratch. It's rediscovering what was always there, your courage, dreams, values, your voice. These don't disappear, they just get buried under stress and noise. Beginning again lets you uncover them, and, in doing so, uncover yourself. What makes starting over transformative is acceptance. Accepting the past without being defined by it, accepting mistakes without being controlled by them, accepting that you did the best you could then. Acceptance isn't giving up, it's acknowledging reality so you can move forward. Without it, the past is a chain, with it, a lesson. Mira struggled with this. She replayed regrets, wondered about different choices. But one day she realized she wasn't that person anymore. She had outgrown her quietly through life. You might carry regrets too, staying too long, settling, ignoring red flags, abandoning dreams. But regrets don't define you unless you let them. The fact that you're thinking about starting over means the story is already shifting. One lesson new beginnings teach is self-compassion. You stop expecting perfection and punishing yourself for not knowing everything. You allow yourself to grow slowly. Becoming better requires patience and honesty, not self-criticism. Self-compassion isn't weakness. It's the foundation that keeps you from breaking. For Mira, it meant resting without guilt. For others, it might be therapy, boundaries, journaling, or letting go. There's another reality. Not everyone will come with you. Some prefer the older version of you, the one who said yes to everything. Your growth threatens people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Some will resist. It hurts at first, but over time, you see that not everyone is meant for every chapter. New people appear, those who respect your boundaries and believe in your potential. That's the magic of starting over. Life replaces what you release with what aligns with who you're becoming. Starting again also teaches you that progress is quiet. No one sees the nights you cry, the courage it takes to admit truth, the small steps that look insignificant. People only see the transformation. But you know the journey, and that quiet strength stays with you. There will be days that feel like setbacks, tired days, stuck days, uncertain days. That's okay. Starting over is about resilience, choosing again even when it's hard, showing up even without applause, believing you deserve better even when results aren't visible. And you do deserve better: peace, clarity, relationships that nurture you, work that aligns with you, a life that feels like yours. Starting over is the bridge between where you are and where you deserve to be. Eventually something shifts. You wake up lighter. You recognize your confidence returning. You try new things without fear. You trust your inner voice. You enjoy your own company. You make decisions that feel right rather than forced. Growth reveals itself quietly, in an ordinary moment, walking, cooking, sitting on your bed, and you realize you've changed. Mira had her moment too. One morning she whispered, "I'm proud of you." She meant it, not because life was perfect, but because she kept going. That pride became her fuel. Starting over gives you a new relationship with yourself. You trust yourself in ways you never could before. You respect your boundaries. You protect your peace. You dream new dreams that match your current heart. And once you reach that place, something beautiful happens. You stop fearing new beginnings. You've fallen before and survived. You've been lost and found your way back. You've rebuilt before and can rebuild again. You finally know that no matter what happens, you are capable of rising. When you reach the final stretch of your new beginning, something inside you settles, not in a way that means giving up, but in a way that feels like coming home. You start to understand that starting over was never about proving anything to the world. It was about returning to yourself after being lost for too long. And maybe the most beautiful part of beginning again is how it makes you softer and stronger at the same time, gentler toward yourself and firmer in what you stand for. Mira once believed that starting over made her look like a failure, but she eventually realized it made her look brave. It made her honest. It made her human. She had spent years worrying about what others might think, only to discover that most people were too focused on their own lives to judge hers, and the few who didn't belong in a life she was rebuilding. Starting over shifts how you see yourself. Not suddenly, but quietly, like roots growing deeper underground. You speak more kindly to yourself. You stop comparing your timeline to others. And slowly, you begin building a life aligned with who you are now, not who you were years ago. There comes a moment in every new beginning when you look back at your old life with gratitude, not because it was easy, but because it taught you resilience, wisdom, humility, and courage. You realize that starting over isn't rejecting the past, it's continuing the story with new strength. Mira once told me, "I don't regret anything anymore. Not because it was perfect, but because it made me stronger." That's the beauty of rebuilding. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes the reason you stand tall today. With each new beginning comes a quiet confidence. You become unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because you know you can survive the hard days. You stop clinging to things that drain you. You move through life with a deeper sense of worth, knowing anything truly meant for you will never ask you to abandon yourself. And when your restart finally takes root, you begin to dream again, dreams born not from fear or pressure, but from alignment and clarity. You imagine work that feels meaningful, relationships that feel like peace, a life that feels like yours. These dreams no longer feel distant. They feel possible because you now believe in yourself enough to pursue them. Starting over gives you something precious: clarity. You see what matters and what doesn't. You understand what you're ready to carry forward and what you must release. You no longer move blindly, you move intentionally. Intention is what transforms a beginning into a new life. But perhaps the greatest gift of starting over is this: you meet yourself again. The real you. The one beneath expectations, fears, routines, and noise. You rediscover what brings you peace, what drains you, what lights your spirit. You begin to live in a way that honors your heart rather than silences it. "I feel like I finally came back to myself," Mira said once, smiling softly. Not because life was perfect, but because she refused to let a difficult chapter dim her light. Isn't that what we all hope for? Not perfection, but a life where we don't lose ourselves. If you're standing at the edge of a new beginning right now, hear this: you are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming. Life doesn't punish you for starting over, it rewards you. It brings people who fit your growth, opens doors you didn't know existed, and clears away what no longer serves you. So ask yourself gently, what part of your life needs a new beginning? What dream still whispers your name? And what small step can you take today to honor the person you're becoming? You don't need to know the entire path. Just the next right step, then another, and another. Until one day you look around and realize you're living a life that once felt impossible, a life you once prayed for. At the end of this journey, remember, starting over isn't the end of your story. It's the moment your story becomes yours again. Every sunrise reminds you that you can begin again. Every breath reminds you that you still have time. Every choice reminds you that you are the author of your life, not the audience. And maybe the most powerful version of you is the one who chooses to begin again when the world expects you to stay the same. Thank you so much for listening. If this message touched your heart today, let it be a reminder that your new beginning can start right now. You're stronger than you think, and your story is far from over. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe for more reflective storytelling, and send this to someone who might need a fresh start. See you in the next video. Until then, be gentle with yourself and keep beginning again.